Hello English students, back here with another video. This one again is for both English 101 and 102 students, and it's about when to cite the when and what of MLA formatting. Now, as a note to you guys, I think it'd be a good idea for you to grab your Writer's Reference 8th edition and have it by your side when looking through this, as well as by your side when you're taking the citation quiz and especially writing a paper. If you notice, if you look through our tabs, there's a white one with orange font that says MLA. If you flip it open, you'll find a directory to almost all things MLA formatting and citation. You'll want to be able to locate this and use this as an index for not just doing the citation quiz, but writing your papers as well. Without further ado, let's get started with our presentation. Here's a brief review of some important components about MLA. This stuff, again, will be included on the quiz. MLA stands for Modern Language Association. It is in its 7th edition, as you can see here in our MLA handbook. It regulates 3 things. It regulates paper formatting, or how your paper appears on the page. It regulates in-text parenthetical citations, or the information in parentheses you put in your paper when you quote or when you paraphrase from another source. And then it includes your list of works cited, or the list that goes at your end of the paper on a separate page. When it comes to formatting, or how your paper appears on the page, MLA wants you to double space, have 1-inch margins, which is the default for Microsoft Word documents, have your page numbers in the top right corner preceded by your last name, your date, the assignment, the class name in the top left, and 12-point font. Here's a review of what you want to cite in general. Here's what you should cite. Cite words or ideas presented in a magazine, book, newspaper, song, TV program, movie, webpage, computer program, letter, advertisement, or any other medium. When you get information that you use from another source, then you're going to want to cite it. Information you gain through interviewing or conversing with another person face-to-face, over the phone, or in writing. It's something called a personal interview, and it's something that MLA allows you to do, obviously, if you cite it correctly. Reprinting any diagrams, illustrations, charts, pictures, or other visual materials. In reusing or reposting any electronically available media, including images, audio, video, or other media. The bottom 2 obviously have to do with more visual and audio components. You might find yourself including visual components in papers for other courses such as charts or graphs, or if you're publishing something online, you might embed things like images, audio, or video. For the purposes of our class, we're probably not going to be using that stuff too much, so let's focus on the first 2 here. That's what this PowerPoint will cover. All right, here comes some specifics as to when to cite. When to document. If you're going to use a direct quotation, meaning when you copy the exact words that an author or authors use using quotation marks, you're definitely going to want to cite it. That's kind of the classic model. Paraphrase material, or others' ideas re-expressed into your own words in a passage of similar length. I italicized re-expressed there for a reason. It means that when you paraphrase, you don't just want to take an author's sentence, go to the thesaurus, change a couple words around, and you're good. You want to re-express it. You want to restate it in your own words, how you would say it. Think about the purpose that you're using that information for. That might help guide your re-expression of that material. And last, summarize material, or the entirety of significant passage of other ideas re-expressed into a passage of shorter length. Sometimes we don't need to pull a specific quote or section from an article that we're reading, for example. We might just want to gloss over and say what it's about or what the gist of it is. That's a summary, and that still requires a citation because you didn't know that information before reading that article. When not to document. You don't have to document your own observations, insights, or conclusions about a subject. Whenever we talk about giving analysis in our body paragraphs, that is our observations, insights, or conclusions about a quote or about a subject that we're writing about. So that means it's our own opinion, and we don't necessarily need to document that. We don't need to document common knowledge, which is common sense observations, generally accepted facts, folklore and myths, map information, well-known historical dates and events, but not historical documents. There's a big gray area to common knowledge. It's true that what can be common knowledge to someone may not be common knowledge to another. However, you want to kind of use, as the first thing says, your common sense with this. Would the average reader of your essay know this fact? Common facts like who the president is or what day Christmas is on, might be known by everyone. But think about the specific audience you're writing to, an academic audience. Obviously, you don't want to take their knowledge for granted, but being aware of your audience will allow you to specify the common knowledge that they have. All right? So, my tip to you guys is because you're maybe getting used to what common knowledge is, you want to make sure to, when in doubt, cite. It's really important to do that because if you have a citation that doesn't need to be there, then I'll just at worst mark it out and tell you not to include it. But if you forget to cite something that you actually end up needing to cite, then it's a little bit more difficult. We have to track down where you got that information from, the author's name, and then put that citation in there. So, if you're concerned whether something is common knowledge or not, the best idea is to go ahead and cite it. All right, here's some general examples of what to cite. On the left, you'll see 4 little blurbs of information that you might be providing in your essay. And then on the right will appear whether we need to cite it or not. Let's take a look at the first one. A definition of mass media from the World Book Encyclopedia in the introduction of your essay. Yes, you need to cite that. It's a definition pulled exactly from the World Book. It could very well be quoted as it has in our example. The World Book Encyclopedia defines mass media as, and then we have our quote, and it would obviously be followed up by our in-text citation. Your own working definition of mass media in the introduction. No, the signal word in the white text over to the left is your own. But if we take a look at what's following this, we see mass media is commonly known as. We can take a look at the word commonly and obviously know that definition isn't really coming from a specific place. It's meant to be common. It's meant to be an implied shared definition that the whole audience may have of mass media. An overview of the Courier-Journal's policy of journalism ethics. Yes, it's coming from a specific publication, the Courier-Journal, and it's detailing that specific paper's specific policy of journalism ethics. You lead into it like this. Yes, the Courier-Journal, a daily newspaper based out of Louisville, Kentucky, holds their writers to the following ethical standards. And then you would list the standards. You might actually paraphrase that instead of cite it because it might be a list. An interpretation of the Courier-Journal's policy of journalism ethics. No, you don't need to cite that. It's your interpretation of it. Take a look over here. Some newspapers, such as Louisville's Courier-Journal, hold their writers to high ethical standards. Notice the word high in there. The word high designates a judgment or an interpretation of those journalism ethics and not a literal statement of them. All right, when to cite. If you look over to the left, I have some examples of sentences that would hypothetically be used in a paper. Let's take a look at our first one. Human beings have been described as symbol-using animals. Right there, we have a direct quote. We can tell because there are quotation marks right there. Say this is the work we're citing it from. Notice how I have it in in-text citation form with hanging indentation. It's from Kenneth Burke's book, Language as Symbolic Action. So, where do we put our citation and what do we include in it? Our citation includes the author's last name and the page number. It's a print book, as we can tell by the medium down here, so we're going to want to find what page number we pulled that exact quote from. The author's last name and the page number goes in the parentheses, and the period follows the citation and ends the sentence. Our second example. In a series of interviews with members of Congress, they note how trends of gun violence in the past 2 years have compelled lawmakers to introduce the controversial Senate Bill 224. We can tell that without quotations, it's either a paraphrasing or a summary. It's actually a paraphrasing, and here's how we can tell. Notice how we talk about a specific Senate bill, SB 224, and specific trends of gun violence, the ones that happened in the past 2 years. We can tell that that's paraphrased from a much more specific part that way. Let's say this is the citation that we got it from, Ryan Jones et al. Book, 10 Arguments for Gun Control. Where do we put the citation? Well, it's kind of the same as the last one. We put it at the end of the paraphrased material with Jones et al., the authors. Remember, et al. Means that there are 4 more authors aside from Ryan Jones who worked on that. For a page number, we can tell that we need a page number because it's print, and then a period after the citation ending the sentence. Here are 2 more examples. 4 members of the U.S. Senate are seen as potential nominees for the vacant Supreme Court justice position. Let's say we got this from the article, Benjamin Siegel's These Senate Democrats Seen as Possible Supreme Court Nominee. Now, we can tell pretty easily that that is actually a summary. It obviously doesn't have quotation marks when it's not a quotation. So how do we tell the difference between that being a summary and that being a paraphrasing? Well, if we take a look at the title real quick, it basically restates information said in the title. It says that there are 4 members of the Senate, and that is really the only information other than what's included in the title that we include in our writing. So where does the citation go? Again, it goes after the sentence is over. We put the author's last name, Siegel. Notice how this isn't followed up with a page number because it's a web source. Most websites don't have page numbers. And once again, a period following the citation, ending the sentence. What I have below is a sample paragraph. Here, I want you guys to think about which of the 3 sentences in the sample paragraph the citation would come after. Think about a lot of what was discussed in this video, how we can take a look at a sentence until we need to cite information. Let's say we got this material from John Constant's article, Facebook Instant Articles will give all publishers faster loading and fewer monetization options. I'll read this and you think about where we should put our in-text citation. Additionally, social media influences the way people get news through being the sole method readers use to find information. Beginning April 12, 2016, Facebook users will be able to use its Instant Articles app to browse articles without having to even leave Facebook. This shows how Facebook and social media in general controls how users find content and information and therefore has a major impact on the online news cycle. Where do you think that citation goes out of all the 3 sentences that are listed? If you guess the middle sentence, you're right. Now that we've figured out it's in the middle sentence, where does it go? Just like every other one, it goes right after Facebook, the last word in that sentence, and before the period. Why does it go in the middle sentence though? Well, look at the information that's different in the middle sentence than in the beginning sentence and the ending sentence. Notice how we have a specific date, April 12, 2016. A specific type of social media, where our topic sentence and our analysis just alludes to social media in general. And it talks about something specific that the social media platform, Facebook, is doing. We probably wouldn't have known that information without reading Constant's article. And so we can assume the same of our audience. So we'll want to put that citation here just in case our audience wants to find out more on this information. That's all for our what to cite and when to cite review. Good luck on the citation quiz. And once again, just a reminder, please use your writer's reference with you during the quiz. Again, just like with grammar, knowing all the rules and ins and outs of MLA is frankly impossible. So how do we figure this out? How do we navigate this long, elaborate labyrinth of formatting and citation? Well, knowing where to find that information. Always use your writer's reference if you have questions for this. Feel free to ask me or use the Purdue OWL link that I provide on your syllabus. Thanks a lot, guys. If you have any questions, email me rran0001@kctcs.edu. Thank you.